I remember while Coach and I was sitting at the back last year, Natalie had to go up before me, and she had no one to do.
Welcome to the STS podcast. Bibi, thank you so much for joining in. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, and yourself?
I'm doing good. Listen, it's an honor to have you on. I've been wanting to actually pick your brain a little bit since I think we actually met for the first time like at Elite Raw last year, and you're doing Elite Raw this year. But for those of us who don't know, when did you get into the sport, and what are some of the achievements you've gotten to get you to this place where you're invited to Elite Raw?
Okay, I started in the sport round about 5 years ago. I was introduced to powerlifting by my coach and his wife. They started with powerlifting I think it was around about a year before I did. And they said to me, I must come and join them at some of the competitions to see what it's about. And I was actually there. She said to me that if I can make weight, then she'll take me to the next competition. And you do not dare me. So then I decided to start preparing, and I had my first meet, I think it was in the beginning of 2019 or at the end of 2018. I'm not exactly sure. It was a small meet here in Bloemfontein. I think we were about 4 women participating. I think I squatted about 60 on the day. I benched 35. And I think my deadlift was like 120, but I was hooked. It was so fun, and the community in the powerlifting is just amazing. I felt so at ease, and even though I was like the worst on the day, everyone made me feel so comfortable and so part of the family while we were lifting. So I enjoyed it very much.
That's a very common thread of everyone I've talked to. I feel like because before you go into powerlifting, you think a bunch of meatheads who lift really high weights, it's a high energy, high ego, high testosterone sort of sport. You think those people would be assholes, but powerlifters are some of the nicest people I've met.
And the other thing is, when you're in the gym and you see powerlifters training and you do not understand their training, you think, is it really necessary to use the power rack for an hour or longer? Why can't you just finish your squats and go? But if you do not understand the sport, then it does not make sense to you. So then you think they are inconsiderate.
Yeah, very true. You probably don't have, because you're at Barbell Bullies right now.
Yeah, no, not Barbell Bullies, Bloom Barbell.
Bloom Barbell, is that what it's called? Okay. Yes. So like, do you have similar issues in a powerlifting specific gym, or does everyone more or less understand?
We have a commercial gym, and in the beginning when we started, like I said, it was only myself, my coach and his wife, and we had that problem. Some people could not bear with us on the bench if we had to do bench, and we packed our plates and we kept our place because all 3 of us had to bench on that day, and then no one else could bench. But luckily we got our own little place now that we're training in, with our own bench and our own squat rack and our own deadlift platform and a monolift. And so we're very privileged to now have a space of our own. It's a nice, cozy place. It's home. And we work hard. It's blood, sweat, and tears, but we enjoy it.
So you say your coach and his wife, you're talking about Henk and Laura, correct?
No. Henk and Laura are in Gauteng. We are in Bloemfontein.
I am mixing. Okay. I am mixing the two up in my head. Okay, I get you.
No, it's Coach Guy Connery and his wife is Marianne.
Okay. So tell me, like how important is it for you being like having that kind of environment as a powerlifter? A lot of powerlifters, you get a lot of powerlifters who are like loners. They do their own thing by themselves. Like for you, having that support system around you, how important is that for you?
The whole environment that you're training in, I think, is very important. For myself, it's very important. We come in and we work. We're not here to play, but it's nice to know that you have like-minded people with you while you're training. Coach himself likes to train alone. He does not like us to hang around him while he's busy. I hate it to train alone. Even if there's just one person doing what I'm doing in the same room, then I'm fine. But I do not like to train alone. I've had a little injury with my back last year. I got stuck in the monolift because of my sciatic nerve, and that was quite scary for me. I could not get out from underneath the bar, and they had to come and help me. So that's one of the reasons I prefer having people around me while I'm training. You don't have to check up on me or see if I have good form or anything like that. But as long as I know if something happens, someone is there to help me, then I'm fine.
Got you. I don't know. I've gone through stages where I get a training partner. I get very used to having my training partner there. And then if they're not there, I feel like my routine is off. But I've also gone through stages when, like, when you don't have anyone around you, it's a good time to, like, focus on you, to dial it in, to get lost in your own thoughts. So I can appreciate both sides of the coin. It honestly depends on the mood I'm in on that day.
Yeah, definitely. With the heavy work, like the heavy single squats and the bench, I do not like doing that alone. I will rather change my program during the week. If I had to do, let's say, heavy squats and coach is not available, then I'll rather do heavy deadlifts that I can do on my own, and I have the confidence. And then on Saturday, when I'm supposed to do my deadlifts, then I'll rather do the squats when I know either him or some of the other people are there to help me with the squatting of the squats. At this stage, I'm quite struggling with the confidence on the squats, but we're working on it one step at a time, one day at a time.
Yeah, but that's how.
Fear in the back of your head. What if it happens again?
That's the thing. Like,
you won't get better.
People underestimate, like, how daunting heavy weights can be. Like, in the back of your mind, you know, like, listen, this is heavy enough to actually kill me if something goes wrong. And it takes a lot of courage to be a powerlifter, actually, because, like, you're one bad day away from, like, completely messing yourself up, actually.
Yeah. And you know what? Any day it can be your last day that you're lifting. You never know if it's going to be a safe lift or not, even if you've taken all the precautions, even if there's spotters around you, you never know.
You never know. But I feel like that's what kind of makes the sport exciting. It's like I don't know, the adrenaline junkie in me is like, it's exciting. There's a little bit of danger to it.
Yeah. And you know what? The lightweights, the accessories that you have to do and so on with the lightweights, they don't do anything for me. There's no stimulation. I do them because I have to, because I know it's necessary, but I need the heavy weights.
Spoken like a true powerlifter. But tell me, like, heading into Elite Raw, like, what are your thoughts? How excited are you for ER23?
I'm very excited for Elite Raw 23. Last year, I did not have as much time to prepare for Elite. We came out of one of our qualifiers where I did really, really well. I was very satisfied with my performance there. And then I got an invite very late. I think I had 2 weeks to prepare. And Dan said to me, when I see you, you have to be 2 kgs lighter. I'm like, what? Anyways, I got there and I was 2 kgs lighter. But my performance last year at Elite Raw was not my best. So this year I've got more time to prepare. I think my mindset is much better. There's very big competition, obviously. The opens for the ladies is tight competition. And I know all of the ladies going are not going to sit back and relax when they get there. So I'm going to do my best. I'm going to bring my A game. My goal for Elite Raw is just to be better than I was last year. Yeah. So if I can do PBs on all my lifts, I will be very happy. And the biggest thing for me is I do not want to bomb, because I know that happens. And last year, I think on my squats, I got one of my squats. And it was so funny because something that never happens to me happened. I felt like I was falling forward on the stage. And I couldn't understand it because this is weight that I know, and I couldn't do the squats. So I was very disappointed last year in my performance, even though I think with the little time that I had, I did not do too bad. But yeah, this year we'll really have to step up.
That's something I think only a powerlifter really appreciates is prep time. Because I did the competition I used to qualify for Elite Raw, to get the invitation for Elite Raw, was 4 weeks before Elite Raw. So I'm like,
yeah.
And it was at that time my actual strength level and what I needed to be eligible for the invite for Elite Raw were like on par with each other. So I couldn't even take the qualifier easy. So having to repeat performance again 4 weeks later, it destroyed my body. Like I was sore for a month afterwards. So I can imagine having 2 weeks of prep time. It does have its toll on your body.
Oh, and you know what, Ne? You do not say no to Dan. When he gives you an opportunity like that, you take it because you don't know if you're going to get it again. And like I said, you don't dare me. If you give me a challenge, I'll show you the best I can.
Yes, man, love that. And that was the thing. I thought the exact same too. Like if you told me like, do you want to compete twice in 4 weeks? I'd be like, hell no. But I'm like, the second one's Elite Raw though. I'm like, you can't say no to that opportunity. That's like the hardest competition in the country to get into. You can't say no if you've been given the invite.
Yes, definitely.
So, are you? What's your strategy going into the meet? Like, what have you and your coach developed? Are you guys training a certain way leading up to it? Like, what's your overall strategy?
Yeah. Let me put it to you like this. My least favorite lift is the bench, okay? But currently my bench is doing the best. So I work most on the lift that I'm doing the worst on. That is the first thing. I enjoy my deadlifts the most. Like I said to you this morning, deadlift first and then interview. I love the deadlifts. Saturday is my favorite day of training because usually that's my deadlift day. Okay, and then with the squats now, with this thing in my head of being scared of the heavy squats, I said to coach, I think we should obviously work more on that so I can build my confidence on the squats again. I used to love the squats, but obviously now with my back not working along as I wanted it to, I have to do a whole new reset with the approach to the squat. So I've been doing less deadlifts and more squats. So we can see if I can like catch up with a confidence on the squats because I'm not doing bad with the weights on the deadlifts. So yeah, squats. Like I'm saying, my worst lift is the bench. I'm benching 3 times a week to get that up. And yeah, when we get to a Saturday like today, when it's deadlift day, then I just enjoy the heck out of the day because it's my favorite lift.
I like telling a lot of people like because I have a lot of friends who are not in the fitness industry. They don't do sport. They don't even like training for the sake of their health. And they're like, oh, but it's easy for you. You know, you love doing this. And I'm like, yeah, like I love powerlifting, but I don't necessarily love everything about it every single time I have to do it. Like I hate squatting. I'm good at deadlifting, but I'm indifferent about it. So it's like every time I have like, okay, cool, I'm squatting heavy today. It's always like I really don't want to, but like I'll do it because I have to, because it's part of my sport. Like people don't actually understand. Like sometimes like you're going to have parts of this you don't actually enjoy doing every single time you have to do it.
There's a part that I do not enjoy. But yeah, it's part of the journey. And if you want to get stronger, then you have to do everything on the list to get stronger.
That's it right there. So tell me, how instrumental has it been having a coach behind you in your prep? I know a lot of people like doing it solo. Like for you, like where's your mentality on that?
You know what? I became a coach because of my coach. I started with them and then I started coaching girls that had the same need that I did to do something more in the gym, and they all watched me because I'm not a natural athlete. At school, I never did sports and stuff. I hated it, and they saw that I could do the heavy weights, and a lot of them came in to try and see if they can do it. And the girls that I'm coaching now, some of them are also not natural athletes, but they're doing so well, and it's just so empowering if you can show someone that they can do more than they thought they could do. So my coach is very important to me. I don't think I would have been able to do it without him. He is a Westside qualified coach, so he knows a lot. And I still learn every day. Sometimes I look at the girls and I think, yeah, this week we did well. And then he comes in and he tells me, what's happening here? And I'm like, what? And he says to me, you did not see this, you did not see that. And I think, oh, okay, time to learn again. So it's very important to me to have a coach. If you don't know anymore, who are you going to ask?
And that's the thing. I find a lot of people, even a lot of coaches, I said one of the most underappreciated traits of a coach is knowing exactly what your limitations of knowledge are. Because no one's going to know everything. Everyone has their blind spot. So that ability to be like, listen, I know exactly X amount, which is a tiny fraction of what there is to know about this sport. There's always someone else I can learn from. And that's an underappreciated trait.
Yes, definitely. And he keeps up to date with all the powerlifting tricks and work and everything. And like I said, I am a full-time personal trainer during the day as well. So I do not always have as much time to do all the reading and all of that during the day. And yeah, like I said, I wouldn't have been able to do it without him, not for myself with my own lifting, and also not with the girls that we are coaching currently.
That is amazing.
We like I said, we started with 3 people. It was the 3 of us. And the club is now at, I think, 14, mostly girls. And then we've got about 4 or 5 guys. I love working with the ladies. They are so persistent, consistent, and most of them have that same image as I do, that you don't give them a challenge and they're not going to try. You give it to them, they will show you. The boys, they aren't always that committed. Hey? Sometimes I've got a long stick here in the corner, and sometimes I have to take that stick out just to remind them, listen, you're here to work, not to play.
I do find some athletes, especially the ones who are a little bit more naturally gifted, tend to be the lazier ones. It's like, man, like if you give me 4 weeks, I'll add 5 kilos to my bench. It's fine. So even if I can skip for 4 weeks because I have 8 weeks of prep. So even if I train for 4 weeks, I have time to catch up. Where I find the people who have to work for it in order to get it tend to be a lot more disciplined and tend to go further in the sport because they're very consistent with it.
Yes, I firmly believe in hard work trumps talent, definitely. Because like I said, I am not the natural athlete. I worked my ass off this past 5 years that I've been doing the lifting. And like I said, blood, sweat, and tears before or between these 4 walls. Sometimes we laugh, sometimes we cry, sometimes that deadlift bar is so dirty from all the blood on the shins. But hard work for me is definitely a key to powerlifting.
So tell me, like, having gone from someone who wasn't an athlete before and transitioning to one of the best athletes in your sport in 5 years, like, how is that? How is like your friendships, your relationships, like how have those like how are their feelings about what you do?
The people around me always support me. Doesn't matter what I do. I've even converted some of my friends to also start lifting with me. Obviously, it's a passion of mine, and even though they support me, it's not always their passion, but I believe that I do inspire the people around me, and that's why they keep supporting me. Everyone said to me, when I said to them, you want to do an interview with me? And I'm like, why would you want to do an interview with me? They were like, listen, we all look up to you. Go do this thing. Represent Bloemfontein, represent the girls. So, yeah, I don't always think that I see myself in the same light as the people around me do. But I'm glad that I'm able to inspire girls in Bloemfontein, especially, and all lady powerlifters.
I find that a lot of the most successful powerlifters in the country have the exact same sort of mindset. It's always like, no man, there's someone better than me out there. Like, why are you making a big fuss about me? There's someone like yeah, I did okay, but like someone beat me, so interview them, not me. Like, I find like it's hilarious how many humble people are in South African powerlifting, actually.
A girl, and I'm just lifting heavier weights than the normal girls in the gym.
I won't say the person's name. I won't say the person's name in case they're a little iffy about it. But I asked someone else to be on the podcast not too long ago. In my mind, this person and South African powerlifting go hand in hand. Like, you cannot separate. They've been a part of the sport for so long, and they've impacted the sport on and off the platform in so many ways. They absolutely refused to come on. They're like, no, man, there's so many better people to interview than me. Go ask so-and-so or so-and-so. Like, I'm camera shy, and I don't feel like I'm that important. And I'm like, you're talking nonsense, man. So that's why I realized there's so many humble people in the sport. They're like, listen, I don't want the spotlight. It's fine. I'm cool in the background doing my thing. Don't give me an applause. And I find that it's a really refreshing thing to have that little ego in some of the most important people in the sport.
Yes, that's true. That's quite true. Even if you like on the platform at Elite, I did not expect to be there last year, and I was there, and everyone around me that competed with me made me feel welcome, and that is a big thing for me in the powerlifting community. Not only the girls, but even the guys. I mean, if you go check out Nicolas's lifts, in my life, I've never seen something like that. And even when you're busy warming up there, and he comes past and he's asking, how's the warm-up going? And like, why are you talking to me? It's amazing to be able to share platforms with athletes that are that good, and they've got a good would I say, air around them. They don't see themselves as up here and you down there, and they cannot communicate with you or anything like that. That was very inviting to me while I was at Elite for All last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rare thing, I think, where the best athletes in the country will be all together and no one has an ego about them. Everyone's like, yo, come share the bar with me, or I'll help you warm up. It's a very rare. I don't think you get that in many different sports at all, especially when it's a competition where it's like, listen, we are going head to head. This is a me versus you thing. There can only be one winner. And everyone is friendly. Everyone is inviting. Everyone has respect for each other. Like, it's a very rare thing to have that sort of thing around.
Yeah, and when you're sitting there backstage and you're stressing about your next lift, you're still encouraging the guy in front of you. Come on, you have to do this. Let's go. You got this. I remember while Coach and I was sitting at the back last year, Natalie had to go up before me, and she had no one to do her reps. And he said, don't worry, and he helped her with the reps. And usually when you're sitting there, you channel yourself and you prepare for your next lift. But the environment is so welcoming that you can still help the other athletes while you're busy focusing on yourself, because that is the whole mood created at a competition like Elite.
You're like, listen, I'm going to help you beat me. Let's make sure you're sorted. I don't care if I lose. I just want to make sure.
Let all of us win if it's possible.
It's absolutely amazing. I love that about the sport. I love that. I felt a lot of people like share my view, where it's like, listen, I would much rather come dead lost in a competition that was like hard fought. I gave it my all. Everybody gave it their all, and I came lost, than to come first in weak competition. Like
Yes.
that doesn't do anything for me. I want to be challenged. I want to be pushed. I want the people I'm going up against to do all 9 lifts as best as they can. Because when I eventually win in that condition, then I feel like I've done something.
Yeah. Yeah. Coach usually says to us, it's okay if you don't win, but don't lose. And
Like
that is something very special to me. If you go there and you do not give your best and you lose, it's much worse than coming last, but you gave your all against the best.
Yeah. And I find only people who've been in the sport for long enough realize what that means. I find,
Yes.
for instance, today at gym, I had a conversation with a youngster. He's 17, 18, has a 160 squat, and he's been training on and off for like a year. I'm like, that is a phenomenal base to start with. I'm like, listen, there's a competition coming up, just for fun. He's like, no, I'm not strong enough. What do the other guys do? Like, what's the competition? And I'm like, you're too new to be worrying about what everyone else is doing. And it was like, what's nationals and what people doing there? I'm like, it's powerlifting and strength sports are the only sports where, like, imagine a situation where you play rugby. You've never played rugby a day in your life, and you're worried about what the Springboks are doing. It's like, you're not even a beginner yet. Don't worry about what the top guys are doing. Start playing the sport. You can worry about that later.
Yeah, we've got a saying in our little corner: play the man every day. So make sure you do what needs to be done every day, even if you think it's only a drop in the bucket. Mm-hmm. Eventually, all the drops come together, and you fill that bucket, and then you become the best. That's how you do it.
You have to earn the right. You have to earn the right. I like telling people, one of my favorite sayings is like, allow yourself to be a beginner. Like, what are you worrying about what the top guys are doing when you've done one squat in your whole life? Like, allow yourself to be a newbie.
Yes, I had a boy's dad here today while we were busy with our deadlift session, and he saw me deadlifting my heavy reps up to 150, and we made a video of his son doing deadlift reps on 60 last week, and he said to me, why is he only lifting 60 and you going up to 150? I said to him, listen, there's certain steps that you need to follow. You just do not just burst in here and you lift 200. It does not work like that.
Yeah.
You have to first see what the others are doing, and then you have to learn the process, and you have to follow the process. And if your head gets too big, you get put down very quickly. If not by the coaches, then by the weight. Because if you think that you're too big, the weight will quickly tell you, listen, you need to do more work.
I was chatting to an athlete of mine a few days ago. I was like, powerlifting is one of the sports that as soon as you get too big for your britches, it will humble you fast. Humble you so fast.
Yeah.
Okay,
like I said, no. As soon as you think that you're now on top, there comes someone that's stronger or better than you.
And that's the thing, eh? There's no matter how strong you are, there's someone out there in the world who is younger than you, less experienced than you, and is better than you. Like it's just how it works. And your
jaw drops, and then you back in your spot again.
Back in your I like with another client of mine, I like having the joke, like, no matter how strong you think you are, there's a tiny Asian girl who's probably stronger than you are.
Yeah, that's scary. That's warming up with your max.
That's warming up with your max. But I'm saying that's if you focus on yourself and what you can do and bettering yourself, then it doesn't matter what everyone else is doing. It's not about them. But powerlifting is a sport where
I always tell the girls as well, nothing that I do is going to make your lift physically better, and nothing that you do is going to make my lift physically better. But everything that you do is going to make your lift better.
Yes, and that's 100% true. It's you versus you out there. If you can conquer yourself, you're a better powerlifter. You don't worrying about what everyone else is doing it has never made anyone a better powerlifter.
Yes, definitely.
But baby, thank you so much for joining me on this. It's been lovely chatting to you. Is there anything you want to say in closing before I let you go?
Like I said, it was a privilege to be interviewed by you. Thank you so much for asking me. Like I said, I was very nervous because I've never done this before. But I think it's a quite nice gesture, meeting all the athletes, because sometimes you see them on the live stream or you see them at the competitions and you know what they can do on the platform and so on, but you don't really know them.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you get to know the athletes a little bit better on a like a personal interview like this, then you understand a lot better the way they act at the competitions and when they do their lifts and so forth. So I would just like to say strongs to all the other competitors that's going to Elite Raw. I cannot wait to see you there.
Love it, man. Thanks to everyone for watching. We'll see you in the next one.